to the Moontails Anime Podcast. I'm your host Law from the channel Justice, and here I have with me my co-hosts Azumi and
Hello.
Ken.
Hello. Yes, I'm
Okay,
here.
so today we're going to be discussing the anime Erased, and this week's noob, definitely not virgin, is Ken. So me and Azumi have already watched this and both fairly enjoyed the show. So Ken, tell us about
Yeah,
your experience.
I loved it. I only just recently watched it, like I finished it yesterday, and it was so good. I sat down, I watched the first episode, and then I finished it, all of it in one sitting because it was so good. I
I,
loved, yeah.
I did the same. I did the same thing. I think Azumi was watching it while it came out, so she had
Oh, that's rough.
yeah,
It had some crazy cliffhangers.
yeah. Oh my god.
I would have been on the edge of my seat.
I was watching it in bed, and when you're watching anime in bed, usually you relax and stuff. Sometimes I would literally have to just sit up and just watch it because I was so uneasy with what was going on. Like, particularly the scene that shook me the most was when the little girl was in the bus and she was alone
Yes,
and the
I
killer
was just about
came
to say that.
and he just kicked the door and he left. I was getting out. I was like, no, 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 please, no, no.
Why can't people just leave Yunazuki alone?
Yes, she deserved so much. I loved her so much. I was so sad. That show just made me so heartbroken so many times.
It is
He,
very it is very heart wrenching.
he's like,
I
finally,
cried.
we reached March 1st. She's not gonna die. And then March 2nd, she dies. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
You know what's the funniest thing? Like the funniest thing, I was on like episode 4 and they were having this whole like, "Oh my god, guys, everything is fine. We're all happy." And I'm like, "Yeah,
There's
more
eight
than half the show
episodes.
is left. There's something that's gonna happen."
Oh my god. This show was it was it was a thriller, really. It felt like a
I just
thriller.
It is so good. Like I don't know what it wouldn't be if it was a thriller. If it wasn't a thriller,
It was
because
just
I was
so
on the.
wholesome. I loved
It
it
was
so much.
wholesome, but it was also disturbing. However, I do have like a minor dislikes about it, but it's not that much.
Let's save
Do
criticism
you
for
know
the
how?
end.
Oh,
No, no, go ahead, Azumi.
oh. You said to save the criticism for the end,
Oh, yeah.
but with mine, it isn't really a spoiler. It's just that I feel like it was I could read the signs of what was going to happen.
Yes,
I felt I knew who the killer was before the killer
yes.
actually revealed
I
himself
was I was
throughout the
telling
entire
Law this.
show. So I was like,
I was
huh.
Yeah.
That's a little disappointing that it was this
Hmm.
It was
it
the
was
teacher.
this easy to tell.
I
Not
know.
every It might not be like that for everyone, but it was just that's what messed
I
things up
think
for
I
me.
think I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not
and
the type
I
to theorize while I'm watching something. So
I
I
wasn't even
really
theorizing. It
like
was just
honestly, honestly, it was just too obvious.
maybe
This
I'm
dude was
dumb.
it
too
was
sus.
very
Maybe
obvious.
I'm just
No, no,
very dumb,
love.
or I think I got too into it and I cared too much, and I was actually like, this guy is so nice. He's even with his mom. That would be nice. That would be like a
I
good
think,
couple. And it was like,
I think, I
Nah.
think you're just too wholesome, love. Like it's not that you're dumb. I think you're just too
I
wholesome.
loved.
Because
I was so
the
into
whole
it.
time, this dude was so sus. He was
He
involved
was
in
very
everything. He was,
I don't know. I just
actually,
wanted him
you
to be
know,
good. I wanted him to be good
I wanted him to be good too. But when it sealed the deal for me,
when he
it's
had
when
candy.
no, no. I mean that's another one. But what really sealed it for me was when what's it called? When they were in the stadium watching like the skating match or the hockey match, I don't remember. he was sitting with the other girls and he bought them food while leaving the other Misatu girl. There is no way he didn't notice her because he was the one who told her. So I'm like, he's definitely using this girl as a trap. I knew he was because they
Huh.
talked about it.
That's actually.
When I yeah.
Go ahead, Azumi. Go ahead.
Oh, when I knew it was kind of like this car scene where um I think what was the main guy's name? Sotaru,
Satoru,
right?
Satoru.
Satoru.
Well, he asked him why he has so many lollipops in his car, and he was like, "Oh, I'm just getting like I have a cigarette habit and I'm working on it." And then he just does this smile for like a pretty long while, and I was like, "Yeah, it's this guy."
I was like, damn, he's so
Honestly,
wholesome. Do you
no,
wanna,
that really sealed it.
no? Do you know what made me kind of
Pretty much.
suspect him? Like, I'm gonna be
When
100% real with you guys. I really started suspecting him when he like broke the buckle on Satoru's seat and then drove in the river. I think that's when I started thinking that
oh
like he
wow,
was a bad
how
guy.
like wow, how did you come to that conclusion? That's so. Oh my god,
Whoa,
you're a genius.
I'm pretty
madness,
high IQ, guys.
madness.
Like I will, you guys are playing chess. I'm playing 4D chess.
No, no.
I clearly
Honestly,
understood the thematic complexity of the show way more than you guys because I knew when he drove into the river that he was a bad guy. Like you guys,
actually,
Oh, understood
speaking,
the assignment.
speaking of that, I have like the whole car scene. I have my criticism on. One thing which I've already told Law about is Satoru, as a 29-year-old guy, he could have just pulled more belt off the seat and freed himself, but he didn't.
I was trying to
And
explain to you that if you brake on a car, and I think he forced
but
the brakes,
he
he pressed
wasn't
down on the
braking.
brake.
No,
Okay,
he pressed down on the benzene so that the car drives forward.
okay, all right. Because I was
So
just thinking that in that scenario, if the buckle is broken, then you really can't, and he's braking,
no,
then you can't really do that.
because you know how like the C belt has like a hook you attach to the thing beside you, and it
Yeah.
has like a ring you put the belt inside.
Yes.
So he could have just pulled more belt through that hook and freed himself, but I guess he didn't. I don't know why
He
not.
also could have figured out that the guy, the only male main character that was old enough to commit the crimes, was the guy. So, who knows? Who knows?
I don't know too much the teacher, but it was sus the entire like you know what really caught me off guard. He was like, "Oh yeah, you know that Koya is gonna be safe with me," and I'm like, "Oh no, not Koya."
I don't. I honestly didn't suspect him. I think I would just be too
I
wholesome. Even though
I really want him. I
I'm
really wanted him to marry the mom too.
me too. I was like, damn, this is the match made in heaven. This is so
Nah,
good.
the mom deserves to be a strong, independent, single woman.
Nah, I love it. But
She
why would
already is.
she
She
is
already is. She's the
hands
No
down
best
one
mom.
best
deserves.
character?
Okay.
Hands down best character in the show. I honestly love this woman with all of my heart. She doesn't even need to exist.
I love her too.
I'm getting my body pillow right now. Dio's gonna have a girlfriend.
You know, you could like have the scene, Dio coming back home, and she's like, "Where have you been? Going out with your boyfriend again?" And Pucci hides.
Yeah, and then there's like a Poochie pillow in the corner. Would be hilarious. But yeah.
I love the mom. She was so good.
The fact that she massaged his joints for 14 years, 4
Yes.
hours every
Oh my
single day.
God.
Like, this woman, like, is the definition
She's a-
of commitment, loyalty.
She's
And
a
MILF.
superhero.
She is a super MILF, for being honest.
Yes.
Oh my god.
You know something interesting I've noticed though. So you know after the whole reveal of the villain, which I thought his like story of why he became a villain was dumb, but he explained all that stuff
He was
about like
just
the
crazy.
spider strings.
He was just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, sure, I get that. It was just like, guys, I like killing because it's fun. But anyway,
No, it's not that
so
it's because it's fun. It's because he's kind of similar to like let's say Yoshikage Kira from JoJo's, where like he he has this compulsion to do these things. Like it's like a pretty fairly realistic serial killer.
no, it's realistic. I just didn't think it was interesting.
Yeah, yeah. You'd rather somebody like Dio who just
But
burns dogs for no reason.
yes, I would. Uh,
No.
As would I.
anyway, something interesting I've noticed. After he had like the big revelation about the strings, if you go back to like episode 5 when the mom found out about the identity before she got killed, you could see a string above her head in like episode 5. I don't know if any of
Really?
you noticed that.
I never noticed
Yeah,
that because I haven't rewatched
yes,
it.
Wait,
it
what
is.
did you say?
Wow.
I said if you go back to episode 5 of the series,
Mm-hmm.
and you go to the moment where the mom figured out the identity of the killer, you could see the string above her head before she gets killed.
Damn.
Yeah.
So the
Damn.
over the overshadowing is crazy. You could also see above Airi before she went back
Airi.
to the house.
Oh my god. You just had to say that word and make my heart melt. I love Airi. Like, she
Airi was
is
so
best
good.
girl. Like, oh my god. Best girl. The
It
fact
is.
that she believed him when, like, everything.
No one.
Yeah, no one else believed him. Like, realistically, she would just be another victim. But since this is an anime, like, her believing him is a good thing. But, wow,
I
like,
heard. I heard that her story was like significantly reduced in the anime rather than the manga. But honestly, Airi was so good. She was so wholesome as well.
bro, I'd take pizza from her any day. This podcast is
only,
literally just
I
because.
was
only when
over the
she's
whole store just to
20,
see.
guys. Only,
No.
only, only when she's 20, guys. La, stop. I'm trying to save us.
There is no saving me. Um, but yeah, I think we should let's talk about just the mechanic. I feel
Let's
like
talk about
I wasn't necessarily too satisfied with the mechanic, but I also enjoyed it a lot. Like the idea that he gets sent back to like
Oh,
if anything terrible happens,
you mean the revival?
yeah. I never really liked the fact that there was such a lack of explanation, but I did enjoy the mechanism, like the idea, like
Okay, so
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
No, no, no. Go
I'll
ahead. Go ahead.
talk when you finish. Okay, I was just gonna say, since he was like a manga writer, that he enjoyed writing stories, right? So, like his power is kind of his own way to be or to rewrite the stories of his life, which I find to be really cool because his whole power like revolves around him being able to rewrite history. Because he writes stories, which is pretty good. I like that about it. But I honestly I didn't find the lack of explanation bad. I preferred it this way because it adds a lot of more of a fantastical element to it rather than oh it's this and this. Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. What else? What was your favorite moment, Azum?
Um.
Oh, I just realized I was muted this whole time, so I'm dumb. But
I was
I
like,
I was arguing this whole time very valiantly.
what were you
But
saying?
I
What were you?
was I was saying that I just don't like the lack of explanation because it feels like um it feels really out of place in an otherwise normal world. But I said multiple times that I agree with you completely. I do love the idea that this story writer gets to rewrite the stories of his life, but and the lives of those around him, and it's nice that it helps saves lives, and I like that. But it just felt out of place. It felt like, okay, we're missing something here. Like if it was just something like just even he witnessed like this shooting star when he was a kid, and there was some sort of black hole quantum BS thing, whatever it is.
See,
Like
that's what I don't want. Like
I would
this
rather
is just
anything.
difference. This is just a difference in taste. But honestly, for me, I really enjoyed the lack of explanation because hear me out. The whole story wasn't really about the power of the revival or people trying to take it away from him. It was more about his own story. So if they added like some explanation of like, wow, this black hole swallowed him while he was a kid or something, it would have felt really unnecessary. Maybe the shooting star idea it would be cool since it's like like a legend. But I really enjoyed the lack of an explanation because it added a fantastical element to it, and it
I
also
just
didn't
Yeah,
really
and you
revolve.
also get more of like a focus on the actual like murders.
I
Yeah,
agree with you guys. I like that, but I don't like the fact that it's just it feels like a lingering thing that was like I was waiting for the whole show. I was like, it's really cool that he can do this. I thought it had something related to his childhood because remember he didn't have a really good memory of it. So I thought it was going to be explained sometime in his childhood, but it really never was, and it felt like something that was just lingering that was constantly on my mind. But again, that's just me. If you guys disagree, that's fine too. Let's push the conversation forward. Let's talk about um just
the
the blonde kid. The blonde kid when they were younger,
Kenya,
he was
Kenya,
pretty cool.
the
I love
disrespect,
him.
the disrespect to Kenya, bruh.
Who's
Kenya
Kenya?
was the blonde kid
Oh, bro, the blonde kid was cool. I liked him. I liked him.
was so good. He like when I really enjoyed him was when they grew up and he didn't hesitate to visit his homie and he
Bro,
became a detective just so he could solve the case. Ah,
I
Kenya is a
love Kenya.
homie.
Kenya, I like him the most because he, unlike the girl from his childhood, stayed single for my guy. He stayed single.
You
What?
know, something something funny I read was like, Yashiro, he waited 15 years, but Kayu didn't. Who's really the best girl now, huh?
Nah, he's definitely best girl. He is definitely best girl. But
We
cool,
should
yeah.
we should
Let's
touch
talk
on
about
that
that. Let's
subject.
talk about that because I am of the part where I just think like I didn't even ship them because in the end of the day, they were close when they were like 9 years old. They were just childhood friends. There was no romantic undertones. Like it didn't feel at any point that they were supposed to be with each other. In fact, like I thought from the very beginning because of the way
I thought they
Irie.
were like a
Uh, La, you're kind of not like you could say it was just they were just 5 years old, or like 10 years old, but there was definitely like a romance going on.
No, there wasn't. They were literal children.
there was
There was
Yes,
definitely
they were
of
children.
like
Yes,
they
that's what
were.
I'm saying. They
crush.
were children, which is why I didn't like get hurt by it.
What do you
Well, I
mean
like
get
it was
hurt?
what?
What? Like get hurt? Why would you get hurt by it?
La, I said I didn't.
I know, but you're saying that like you could have. What?
La, what are you talking about? I'm
No, but
saying
listen.
because a lot of people are upset that they didn't end up with
Okay,
each other,
so
and I'm
you
saying I
really
didn't.
you didn't get upset. Okay, I see. I see.
Yeah, what are you trying to play?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But anyways, you guys didn't let me finish. I was trying to say that like
Okay, go
I
ahead.
thought like because Irie was introduced like fairly early, I thought they were set up probably like in my opinion, especially the fact that they were adults and they
She's 17.
Okay, I don't.
What do you mean they were
He was.
adults?
He was.
Lost. Stop.
The age
Stop.
of consent in Japan is
Stop.
13.
Okay, if
Zoomy,
she's
stop.
17, I'm
Guys,
17. I'm fucking around, guys. I'm
law.
fucking
We're
around.
going to jail.
I'm going to jail. I'm sorry.
If they ask me for a testimony, I'm
Yeah,
throwing you under.
no,
I
I
don't care.
promise you. If it ever comes down to it, please do the world
I
a favor, please. Just testify against me, bro.
Guys, just a disclaimer. Law isn't a pedo.
No, yeah, oh yeah, of course not. Like,
We're just
doesn't
messing
take-
around.
Doesn't take logic to. I mean, doesn't take much logic to realize that. But yeah, I was saying something like Irie. I thought they were kind of written to be more close, whereas Kaya or what's her name, the
Koya.
Koya
Inas.
Koya was Hinazuki Koya. I love that kid. She was so adorable. Like she was such a good.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for her, but I never really kind of got romantic undertones. If anything, I kind of felt
It
like
was.
they were being more like sibling wise, like because he would take her over to his
Nah.
mother, and they were like close by. It felt like a really close
No, it
connection
just
like that.
felt like a cute little
No, it was a children romance.
little
It was
romance.
definitely there.
Okay,
But
and who's the pedo now? You used the words children romance.
How does it make
but
you?
it was children
I
romance,
didn't. I don't know. I never.
basically, because they were both.
Anyway,
But I
guys.
was angry still.
The
'Cause,
so I wanted to talk about this
No,
because.
let Azumi speak, please. I want.
Oh,
She has
sorry,
an
I didn't hear
opinion
you.
that
Okay.
I vehemently disagree with,
I've
but I want to hear what her.
been
thoughts are.
trying to.
Okay, go ahead, cause like I'm kind of in the middle. So we heard Law's opinion. Now we can go for Azumi's, and then I'll say the one in the middle.
I was angry. I was honestly angry. Like, I watched it when I was young, so I was really upset at the fact that, like, she already had, like, an actual proper life without him.
You
But
sound
at the
very
same
toxic.
time,
What?
wait, just hear me out. She had a proper life without him. I'm saying that as a good and a bad thing because it's bad for him. Like, I feel bad for him, but at the
Why?
same time, he did
Law,
the
don't
wait.
don't
Oh my
feel like this,
God.
Law. Let her finish.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry. I'm
Let
very
her finish.
passionate about this. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Anyway, what was I saying?
You were saying you feel bad for him.
Okay, I felt bad for him because I felt like he had some feelings for her, but like now that like everything has changed, he can't really like say anything about it. But I feel like happy that he managed to see her have a happy life. Like he managed to see her grow as a person and see like where she's at in life now and what would have happened if she did die as
Okay. Can we?
and I feel really
Oh, go ahead.
happy about that. The more I like what? Oh my god.
You paused for a second, so I thought you were done. But continue. All right. So what we were saying was, I don't know. I just don't feel like he had those feelings for her, like because one, he was a 30-year-old in a 9-year-old body, and two, even if you're gonna say, oh, when he was originally 9, maybe he had feelings for her. He didn't even know her when he was originally 9, and then two.
Yeah.
So two, he didn't.
Kinda brain
I feel
dead.
like she just doesn't. I don't think he had those type of feelings for her, and he didn't. The most important thing for him was that she grew up and had her own life. Like her moving on was probably only thing he would have wanted. I don't think he would have wanted her to be staying by his side every day, massaging his joints, because like really and truly, he may have saved her life, but it just feels like that like incel like incel type of logic where it's like, oh yeah, you saved me, so now I must sleep with you. I must have romantic interest in you.
Okay,
Like it just
can all right? Can I
No, she
say my
definitely.
take on this? Can I say my take on
let
this?
us let Azumi go because I think she stopped somewhere.
Okay, go ahead as we continue.
I don't know. All I said was she definitely doesn't know him anything. That's all I just said.
Yeah, because and I hate that the community was like, "Oh my god, how dare she move on?" Like, bro, they were
Yeah.
9. They were 9 years old. And like sure he helped her out of an abusive house and like she did all that she owed him. She visited him. That's really all that she owes him. She doesn't owe him anything more, and people make it seem like she um she actually does owe him more and that he wants more. Like it's never been stated like that he was sad that she moved on or that he felt any sort of way. All he did was
Literally cried.
smile. He was happy. He
Oh,
saw her with
he
a
was.
baby. He was happy. He was not
Okay,
sad.
I know. I'm just kidding.
I think it's up to interpretation.
Can I say my take
Yes,
now?
yes. Middle. Let's go.
Okay, so I don't think anyone should blame the people who were sad about her moving on, because as an audience, we've been through the whole story, and at the end, the whole perfect image of the ending of the series were them getting together. And this isn't about him and her and him expecting her to do something. It was more of like a perfect ending or a perfect happy ending for everyone watching. So this is why kind of it felt a
But
little bit
but
unsatisfied.
then I
La, let me
agree.
Happily
finish.
ever after.
Okay,
Let
okay,
me finish.
okay. It's just All right, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
Okay. So
I'm very passionate about this.
I am too. I
So
am too.
Yes, we all are.
So
I'll
Well,
fight you.
anyway, we'll fight, bro. I don't care.
Go ahead.
Anyway, when they were children, I kind of felt, because you're saying you never felt there was anything between them, but there was very obviously parts where he was like, "I'm 29, get a hold of yourself," because he's an old person, but he was clearly blushing
You
and doing
saying
all
he's a
these
pedo?
kind of sort. No, I think being in a child's body kind of made him in that mindset in a few times, which is probably why this happened. But like there was definitely some child romance in there, and everyone felt bad for what's her name, Hinazuki, because she was an abusive family. So when he saved her, it was like a really cute chemistry between them, and everyone just wanted them, be happy, grow up together, all that stuff. And he definitely wanted her by his side because after she left in the car, he chased the car down. He was like depressed for a few days before he started saving the other girls. What's their name? Or the girl and the guy, Hiromi and the other girl. But like you're very upset because some people are shipping them together, and Azumi is very devastated. But I personally feel like I
I'm
felt
not
bad for him.
devastated anymore. It was kind of like like my first watch being younger.
Yeah, no, like I at this age I was pretty like shocked when she walked in with a baby. But I personally feel like it would have been backwards character development if she stayed around for 15 years waiting
I
for him to wake up.
agree. I agree.
Yeah,
Like
Once she regained control of her life, it would be very bad if she stayed waiting 15 years for someone else's sake. And besides that, like
yeah,
a whole big theme of this show is childhood trauma that people forget. And one of these people is Satoru, which gets this revival. Like a lot of people, when they're like, for example, alone, they're like, "Damn, this thing I did ages ago. I should have done this and that, which we all do. But Satoru, he's a one lucky guy who got the chance to actually do that. But the thing is, he had like kind of childhood trauma when she got murdered, which he kind of forgot about. And the same thing happened with Koya, because she did have childhood trauma, and her fifth grade crush who saved her from the trauma, sure, like they had romantic feelings, but she went and lived with her grandma. She had a whole happy life. She moved on. She went to school. She did all of these things. So I think it, like the people who are very upset that they didn't like end up together, I think they're kind of delusional, because sure, it's sad that they didn't end up together because it's sad for Satoru. However, this is kind of the perfect outcome out of
Good
this whole
thing.
thing, because at the end of the day, Satoru didn't really save them. And I said this before, Satoru didn't really save those girls because he wanted to be with one of them. He just was a good person, so he did everything he could to avoid having more regrets. So
Yeah.
You're saying my stuff.
no, but you're a lot, you're like
Let
very
me
towards
clarify.
the,
Let me clarify something.
bro.
One,
Go ahead.
I haven't watched a show in a while, so you would know more than me. You would know more than me about like if they had like. I just didn't really interpret it as like any romantic feelings. I felt like they were a bit too young to even experience that. I just thought it was like he was getting really close to her and he
No,
was
you can
happy.
definitely experience
every
that at any
every
time.
two young guy and girl, if they like hang around as friends, they're gonna feel like,
يا أخي حرام عليك.
stop, I'm just saying the truth. So so
Yeah,
I think it
it's
was
normal to have crushes when you're younger.
I don't know. I don't remember that. Like, then again, I don't remember my
law.
childhood.
Okay, okay,
That's
okay.
just you, bro.
I don't know.
So
Life's good being asexual.
so the difference between me and you is that you kind of hate anyone who's like, oh, they had romantic feelings for each other, and it's kind of sad, which isn't like, that doesn't always mean that they
I
think
don't
Koya is
hate
a bad person.
them. I just don't. I don't like the
I
people.
know, but the difference is not everyone that says that like feels that they should be together. It's just a sad thing that
I
happened because
but I also experienced it differently. Like I said earlier, I kind of didn't even have that ship in my head. I was thinking like Irie.
it wasn't more of a ship. Like I, like as I watched the show, I wasn't going, oh, finally they're going to be together. They were obviously kids.
Yeah.
However, as I said, the perfect scenario in my head as Koya was leaving the whole town where she was erased. I just wanted them to be, together as kids, because he saved her, and they obviously, they meant a lot to each other. So at the end of the anime, when they weren't together, it kind of just crashed this perfect image I had in my head. But at the same time, like, it wasn't, I didn't think it was a bad thing. It was the right thing,
Yeah, like
and it was the happy end. I'm happy.
from like our previous conversation, we both agreed, and you said that like he wasn't really doing it because he had a crush on these girls or he wanted this or that from them. He really was just doing it because he's a good person. And so
Yeah,
I just, for me, it feels like it would kind of ruin his intentions if it was like, oh yeah, I had a crush on her. That's why I wanted to do this or that. And
I feel like if they did end up together, I wouldn't think that way necessarily, because as I said, he like, personally watching the show, his motive was very clear to me that he wanted to save them because he was a good person. The other part just came along as I watched. It wasn't something I actively thought about.
hmm,
So like, it's a sort of thing where I wanted Goya to just have a nice, like, childhood, and then grow up, and they have a whole, like, childhood friend kind of thing. But at the same time, I think this was beautiful, and I really loved the scene where she walked in with the baby and he like held its hand. I really liked that scene. I didn't hate it. I feel like we're just fixating on one point. Hello?
Well, we can move on.
Oh, I was saying the best thing, in my opinion, the best thing for her would have been to move on from the trauma. And I feel like if she was with him, like doing everything, like it would just I feel like she didn't really get to move on, and I don't even think he would be happy. But like, yeah, I think we feel like we're going in circles within like the last 5 minutes of this
Yeah,
conversation.
I agree with you. I think Azumi can also agree that it was fine for her to move on. We can go on with another point.
So Ivory is legal.
So, law, please.
We're trying to be on the same page.
She is legal.
All right,
Uh,
nice.
what did you think about the villain, the teacher, overall?
I don't know. He was meh.
I agree. I actually, a favorite scene of mine is at the very end of the show
Ooh,
when
the when
Satoru.
he jumps off.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
I loved
that was
it too.
clean.
I loved it.
He
Like the
he
wink
made
after
him.
he lands in the
Oh,
net and he waits. I love that so much.
The fear in his eyes.
Yeah. Like I actually
my
yeah, go ahead.
yeah.
No, go ahead, bro.
Okay, I was just gonna say like my favorite part of that whole exchange is like he waited until they were alone at the top, and he was like, "I retained all my memories," and it was kind of fun seeing Satoru kind of manipulate his enemy like that because we've always been used to like Satoru being the nice guy, but here he kind of like plays the teacher, and he he made him sim for him for some reason. He's like, "Ah, I can't live without you anymore. Which is best girl?" And then he just jumps off, which was really impactful because the teacher
I was
Yashiru
scared for a second.
he grabbed the chair, and there was this scene when he grabbed the chair when Yashiru kind of looked at him and he was like, "You only live for me because it is me that knows your true self," or something like that. And his face was like the clouds. And then he was like, "Yeah, you're right," and he let them go. You remember that?
Yeah, somewhat, but yeah, my brain
It's
just
been a
got
while.
frazzled on this thing. Well, like yeah, just
Hmm.
kind of a bit shaky. My memories on it. I just like remember the wink very vividly. Um, yeah,
The wink was just him flexing.
it
It was
was it
just a
was
flex.
such a flex. That's why I loved it so much. Um, yeah. What was her name? The girl. Let's talk about some of our favorite
Inazuki?
moments. Yeah,
Inazuki?
Hinazuki Koya.
Yeah.
Koya, my favorite moment, and I think we've talked about it on the podcast too. My favorite moment was when Koya gets her first breakfast in her
Breakfast?
life and she just
Yeah.
starts bawling. Like, that melted my heart. And, like, this is what I mean by I was completely invested. Like, I think it takes such a great show to make my heart like completely attached. Like it's not I wasn't watching this with my head. I was watching this purely with my heart. Like this was just all love. Wait, I know Azumi loved
I
that
don't know.
moment too.
It's just something like
I
about
cried to it.
sympathizing
It was
with
really
children,
depressing.
because
Depressing?
like the idea. Yeah,
It
because
was
she. This
depressing
is
in
the
the sense
first
that she
time.
was like she was thinking back at what her
Her
family would
mom.
leave her before she
Yeah,
went to school.
I don't know if you
Like for
remember this law,
dinner
but
and stuff like that, it was usually like a piece of bread or like ramen, or sometimes not even anything, just change. Like
yeah.
Hmm.
like that's depressing to look at,
Oh,
and then you're
oh,
seeing her
actually,
cry to this food, and you're like,
something,
damn.
something I really hated. Like, I actually really hated this when they finally got her mom. and then her mom showed up and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sad." And Satoru's mom goes and she's like, "Don't worry, I know what you feel." And I'm like, "Shut the hell up. She does not deserve this. She beat her kid. I don't care. I don't care if she had trauma. She
You don't
shouldn't beat
care
a
that
kid."
you beat a kid, Ken?
What?
No, he said he doesn't care that she has trauma of her own.
Yeah, I don't care
Oh,
about that.
yeah.
You're beating a kid. Like you shouldn't you shouldn't pass the trauma on someone else and then act like the victim. I
Yeah.
I personally felt zero sympathy.
I don't
Zero.
think anybody did, but this just shows how good Satoru's mom was. Like,
I don't know, man. I kind of hated her there because
nah, I felt like
I
she was
would.
just too kind. I feel like
Yeah,
she
but
was
you
just
should not
such a
always
good
be
person.
kind. You shouldn't
That's
always be kind. Like,
that's the problem with like the idea of people thinking like, oh, God needs to be all good or things need to be all good. The thing is, if something is all good, then that entity, whether it be the justice system or you're thinking of a higher power, if something is all good, then there will be no justice. Like, sure, it's admirable to see somebody who is kind to everyone, and it's a beautiful thing. However, not everybody is deserving of kindness.
I think it's more kind if she would have ignored her mom crying because it would have been at least kind to Hinazuki. Because Hinazuki's been abused as a child by both her parents and even murdered. And I know she doesn't remember that, but she does remember being abused. And I never once seen like the mom or anyone give Hinazuki a hug and everyone being like, "Oh, don't worry, you're gonna be fine now." They never did that, but they did it for the mom who's been abusing her kid for like
I
10 years.
it just felt like the mom was being too nice. That's all I feel. I understand your plights, but there's nothing else we could really say about it.
Yeah, that was one of like the things that were negative in my opinion.
Hmm.
Like that moment stuck with me. I was like, fuck, mom.
I was just the whole show. I watched it too fast, and I'm sure if I rewatch it, I won't enjoy it as much. But I
I,
just
I'm
liked it.
I've never been the kind of person to rewatch a show because it all feels kind of pointless to me.
Yes, that is why you're not cultured.
How am I
Wait,
not
have
cultured?
you seriously never rewatched like the Chimera Ant arc or
No, I don't need to.
wow.
I
No,
I
don't
don't
you
need
either.
to
miss
watch
you
show.
miss a lot of things on your first watching.
What did I miss, Law?
Okay,
Law,
I'll
I've
talk to
watched
you.
it right
I
now, and
miss
I
nothing.
Do you remember how perfectly contrasted Gon was to Meruem?
Dawn and
Like
Meruem.
like
Yes,
no, even in terms of their first actions. Like Gon, when he's told about the ants, he's told to always go for the head and go for the kill. And whereas um, Meruem is told, don't go for the head because the head is the best part. And Gon, when when he kills his first thing, he doesn't. He crushes them and doesn't go for the head, which doesn't kill the guy. And whereas Meruem, he actually listens. So one, they were both given opposite advices, and two, they were also had one of them listened, one of them didn't, and that's like just first one of the first moments of their contrast, and like that's the type of shit you see, and you're like, oh my god, this arc is one of the best in shonen. Like,
okay,
It's
but
not the
here's the
best.
thing. Here's the thing. No,
Actually,
this is a
there
conversation
is
for
one
another
thing that
time.
makes it the best.
Okay,
That one
so
scene of that one dude with a really tragic backstory that only shows up in one episode.
Gyro.
Gyro, yeah,
It's the best moment in Chimera.
I was hoping Gyro
everyone
would be
hates,
relevant.
everyone who hates Hunter x Hunter always goes on about how irrelevant Gyro was. Like everyone I talk to who doesn't like Hunter x Hunter, they
They're
just
just
try.
mad.
To
They just
call Gyro irrelevant is a compliment. Honestly, it's a compliment. Not because you're calling him irrelevant. It's because you spoke his name. That's the compliment.
yeah.
Gyro didn't matter whatsoever.
They're just
I think
mad.
they intended to make him more relevant, but the author kind of like died or something. He like takes a break after drawing a picture, but
Bro, I'm
he
saying
like
that's the beauty in rewatching stuff. If something is great, like I mean truly great, when you rewatch it, you see so many new things like Fullmetal
but
Alchemist
but
Brotherhood,
the thing is,
Hunter x Hunter, or even the greatest example, One Piece, which I've notoriously reread and rewatched several times because you gain a greater appreciation for things. Like, but
yeah, but I can still do that if I read about it or watch a clip or something. I don't need to rewatch the whole thing.
mm,
That would just bore me
Yeah.
out of my mind.
I guess people are different. It's all right.
I like to read about stuff. Like I could
So
watch.
if I did a video about the differences between Gon and Meruem, even though you don't remember
Yes,
jack shit, you would enjoy the video, but you wouldn't
I
enjoy
remember.
watching.
I remember.
Do you remember exactly what I was talking about and their advices and things like that? Just a
Yes,
minor.
I remember that. I
You remember?
remember going for the head, and I
Good.
remember Gon
Good.
crushing like that armadillo creature,
Hmm.
that one that was spinning fast,
So you're saying you
and
haven't
then
been infected by the Azu virus?
no, I remember stuff. I never like linked that exact detail because there's just so much going on in that arc
That's
that I
why
didn't
you
stop.
rewatch because there's so much going on and it's like it's so worthwhile when you're just watching a moment and you see a piece of dialogue and you're like, holy shit.
Yes, but the thing is, like, I'm going to watch like 40 episodes just so that I can find like these small nitpicks. I would rather read
That's
about it
smart.
or hear a video about.
Okay, to each their own.
Cause like rewatching it a lot and analyzing every bit like 50 times is gonna bore me off the show.
Again,
If I
to
rewatched One
each
Piece five
to
times, I would hate it.
to each their own. If I watched One Piece 5 times, I still wouldn't appreciate it as much as I do now, having watched it 8 times. uh, no, I need to get 10 times. 2 more rereads.
You should
Like,
go for the
but
world record.
before I was in uni, I would rewatch or reread it every year, like a yearly. But the last like 2 3 years, I just haven't been able to because I've been
I
so
just
busy.
I just realized that I'm a massive hypocrite because I've reread I've reread Berserk like 4 times.
Cause Berserk is goated, and I don't blame you whatsoever. If something is good and you reread it or rewatch it, especially after let's say a few years of not having seen it, it's well worth it, and you will enjoy
Oh
being
yeah,
like, "Oh shit, this line that Arlong said makes so much more sense now that we know the true history of Fishman," and things like that, that make the show so much better. And I feel like you shouldn't knock it until you try it.
okay, I can agree with that. Like if it's been like a few years and I rewatch it and enjoy it, then yeah, sure. But there is just some people who like a show so much
Like me.
that they watch it 5 times in a day, and I'm
Okay,
like, why?
I wouldn't watch any show that I could watch 5 times in a day. Fuck them 12 episode animes. I know
Oh,
Erased was 12 episodes, but again, I would not enjoy Erased as much the second time because a lot of it was just heartfelt emotions and it wasn't like
yeah,
thinking with 150 IQ trying to read Meta Women Gone and shit like that. Not
that's another thing. That's another thing about anime that is kind of the first like emotional shock. That is the real enjoyment, and if you rewatch it again, you're not going to feel that. So it's
you
just gonna.
don't need well one have you not seen like let's say a clip of Robin saying I want to live and still getting goosebumps or Zoro saying
No,
nothing
no, that
happened and then goes crazy?
definitely gives me goosebumps.
Nothing
But it's
happened was hilarious.
Azumi,
what?
you're a different breed. She literally laughed when she saw Zoro go through
What?
that. We've
Okay,
spoken about this.
but fairly enough, Zoro is pretty funny. He did that. to be funny.
What? No. It was like such an epic moment that was like when I was watching that for the first time, my brain was like not comprehending that. I was like, what do you mean? Like Zoro took a drop of that shit and he was having a seizure. And like now he's just listening to it. I mean, he's just doing it complete. Oh my god, that and the blood everywhere. Oh my god, that moment was so
So
crazy. So brought
so
erased.
yeah, about Erased. I was saying like you were asking me, have you never watched like a clip? And of course I have. And when I get that like itch to watch that clip of Robin saying I want to live, I just go to YouTube and I look at it and I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
But
But
like,
if I watch that whole arc just so that I can see Robin saying I want to live, I would honestly hate myself
mm,
because it's so
again,
long.
again, please don't knock it until you try it.
Okay, true, true. You know what? I'll read the manga. I think I like rereading manga better than rewatching anime.
I wouldn't suggest to watch the anime, One Piece anime twice, because I've done it, and watching it a second time,
Wait,
you don't
wait,
enjoy
you've
it.
done it?
Yeah.
You've rewatched the whole
Yes.
show
Yes.
anime?
I watched it. I
What
watched
the
it maybe
hell?
like
You're
two,
a
three times.
different breed.
Two, three
Oh
times.
my god, what?
Again. But
What?
it was back when there was like 800 episodes or 700 episodes. So
Oh, okay. Because like that took me so long.
even that is still hard. Like 800
But
episodes.
to be fair, I feel like after watching the show, and I'm like, wow, this was long, but
Like
I actually enjoyed the anime. It wasn't.
I was saying something like I don't typically enjoy rewatching anime now, simply because the show controls the pace. Whereas if I'm reading a manga, I
I
dictate
control
the
it.
pace and I can go through a lot more, especially if I'm rereading. I'll go over the lines and it's like, shit, I remember this scene from memory. Like I can't tell you what Shanks told Luffy, like something like that.
That's sweet. I
Yeah.
used to, when I was younger, I used to watch the anime first, then reread the entire manga, then watch the live action, and then try to find any other like spin-off of it. Like
Like the
I would
banana
go hard
fish.
on it.
I feel like that's something all of us have done when I was young as well. I would finish something I'd love and I'd be searching for anything with new content with the characters I like.
Yeah.
Really?
It's only because like it kept it fresh. Like when you finish something, it honestly feels like very depressing, especially
Yeah,
like if you watched it for a really long time. Like it just felt like a journey that you don't want to finish. So
Hmm.
you
yeah.
try to find like other things involved with it.
Like like the moment I caught up with One Piece Law, that was also very weird.
You're probably hella depressed. You're like, why do I have to wait
I, w-
1 week for a
I was
chapter?
I was so depressed because like with One Piece, I know we're deranging from a race, but we've basically said everything.
No, we
Uh
haven't. But we'll get back to it at the end.
okay, I was what was I saying? Something about One Piece?
Yeah.
Forgot. Uh oh, I was saying like One Piece anime, it's more of an it was more of a concept and an ideal for me rather than an actual show because whenever I was bored, I was like, don't worry, I have like 800 episodes I can freely binge and never ends. But when it actually ends, it just hits different.
I feel that. I feel that completely. Like, I was watching it as a kid, and when it ended, like, by that point, but by the point I got to One Piece, I was already like watching long running shonens. I'd watched Bleach and Naruto, and of course Dragon Ball, the whole series back from like the original Dragon Ball. So when I got to One Piece, I was just binging it, and it was like, this is great. It's like Naruto. It's like Dragon Ball. It's I was enjoying it a lot, but like I don't know, One Piece just had so much more of a like impact on my childhood. Even though I watched the other like three at maybe within the same year. So take in, I was binging. Like I watched several hundred episode anime, like maybe four of them within the same year. I was zooming.
Yeah. It just feels sad when a long series ends because you've been with the character so well. Have you ever felt like that, Azumi?
Yeah, I felt like that
That's
with
why.
Naruto. Definitely.
Hmm.
Like I cried,
But
and I didn't know what to do with my life because that's all I knew. And I genuinely felt that. I was like, what am I supposed to do now? Because like this dude was my childhood. He strived to become what he wanted his entire life, and he finally had it. So I felt like I had like that's I got my ambition and my feelings of like prosperity and passion from that dude. Like
that
Naruto helped me out a lot. Well, I don't talk about it very much. Like it was like
Naruto
it
saved my
was
life.
something like with with every character, I was just very driven because all of them helped me out in some way to be a better person in my life. Like
Damn.
That honestly
they
makes
were
so much
that
sense.
was my childhood.
That makes a lot of sense.
So, like
I don't know. I've never been the
yeah,
type of person to get influenced by anime in my real life decisions.
The thing is, Azumi
I
is
was
a
very
literal shonen protagonist. She is a shonen protagonist. Like if you've heard her
True,
speak,
true.
like she sounds exactly like one. She's so like positive and idealistic. It's a great
Let's
thing.
go, guys. Let's
But
go without a plan into the enemy base. Let's
yeah,
go.
yes.
thanks. It was all Naruto. I love Naruto.
I was gonna say
I'm
like
like
yeah.
fangirling right in the sense that like I never do with other people because I just don't feel like they would feel the same way that I did with Naruto.
I
Like
love Naruto too,
most people
but
usually
I
tend to make jokes about it and the way Naruto is, but I genuinely love him as an anime protagonist.
I do too. I
Like I
love him.
felt I felt so much emotion for this kid who did not have anyone that loved him and managed to
Yeah.
get that. He
Yeah,
managed to get love from everyone.
it
Like
it's a great like
like
after
I'm
the
a
pain
tear up.
fight.
Like I love this kid.
Like you remember after the pain fight when he's getting lifted up by the villagers? Like that was emotional.
Yeah, that was
So
very emotional. But yeah, just the ending, while a lot of people disliked it, I feel a lot of people that dislike it deserve like Kishimoto deserves an apology from these people because he
huh?
literally carried our childhoods.
No, let me. I love Naruto, and
But
okay.
like yeah, I still felt that feeling of like what am I going to do now? Because
La
like it
La just
felt like
doesn't like
the
main
end
characters.
No, I
the end
actually
of an era.
Naruto is a fairly good like. I think he's like the him and Luffy are the main inspirations for this next generation of anime protagonists, and I liked Naruto.
I hate
Um,
that. I hate that
can
so
let me
much.
finish? I was just trying to say one thing about the Naruto
Okay,
ending,
go ahead.
please.
Oh my god, Naruto ending. Okay.
The Naruto ending.
I don't want to
I
hear
didn't
this.
love it, but I'm going to say I I don't I felt closure at the end, and that is what I like about long running series. I
Yeah,
don't
everything
tend to
was
feel like I don't
nothing was loose.
yeah,
Like there was no loose ends. He literally finished it perfectly.
except okay. But so
I'm saying perfection in the sense that there were no loose ends.
no.
Everything
I'm
connected
I'm saying
perfect.
Kishimoto, the story gave me a satisfying end with some good closure, and I never really felt the same feeling that you had where it's like where do I go from here. I was always like that's the tale of Naruto Uzumaki, and
No,
that is
I
I just love it.
I felt the pain. I was like, damn, this guy like he's done. He did what he wanted to
And
become
that's
and
great.
he left it off to like his watchers. That's what I felt.
Yeah, but that's a good thing. What do you mean? Why is
Yeah,
that
it's a
bad?
good thing. But it's so touching and it's painful because like he's gone.
But
You
you
know what
I
I
can
think
mean?
I think
always rewatch it, like the moments that you
no,
love.
La
You don't
La
understand, though.
Like finishing a series and not being able to see something new is painful. It's like losing a friend.
Like
Like
with
imagine if you lost a friend but you have a picture of him. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
I understand that. I understand that. But I'm saying like every story needs to have an end. And when we're talking about like long running shonen that have been there throughout our childhood,
Yeah, and
like
I understand that, but
I
like,
I
Course,
feel
of course, they need to have an end. Like I agree.
like One Piece is like my life. And when One Piece ends, I don't think I'll be. You guys can make me swallow my words later, but I'm just happy that I got to experience it to begin with. Like, I don't like. I would rather that than movies because I hate movies because I feel like I
I love.
might connect with a character for an hour and 20 minutes, but then after that they're gone and I'm never gonna see them again. However, in a long running shonen, you get to see this guy grow up and you get to see him make friends and you get to love those friends and it's so nice and happy and all these things and it's just such a good feeling. And when it comes to an end, it makes you feel like I grew up too. Like watching Naruto grow up, you're just like I'm having these changes as well and I'm meeting new people. I'm making new friends and I'm happy that I'm at this point in my life and Naruto achieved what he wanted to, and so I can achieve what I wanted to. That's kind of like,
I totally understand where you're coming, but I don't think you understood where I was coming
So
from. Like,
I
I'm
understand where
saying
you're
it in
coming
the
from.
fact
I'm
that,
not
like,
saying you're wrong. We experience things differently. I completely
yeah,
understand. I was just
a
giving you an
law,
idea of how
law,
I felt.
okay,
law is coming from the perspective of don't be sad it's over. Be sad that it happened to
Pretty
begin with.
much. Yeah, kind of.
yeah,
I don't know if you were
Yeah.
memeing, but that's actually how I feel.
No, because that's the first thing that came to my mind when you said I'm happy I got to experience it. Because that's kind of the way people cope with things. It's either you are happy it happened to begin with, or you are sad that it ended. Which I feel like they are the same. There are two faces to a coin, but
yeah.
uh, it's like everyone is different in this kind of thing. Like you, law.
Yeah, it's
I'm
perfectly
fairly
fine.
sure.
No one's wrong.
I'm I'm fairly sure you're going to be depressed when One Piece ends, but for now we can say you
Bro, what do you
like to
mean?
rewatch
When
the
One
anime.
Piece is done, we're just gonna watch Two Piece. That's it.
No, I'm excited, bro.
Two pieces.
We're
Let's
gonna have
go.
Buffy trying to be a marine. Like, that's Two Piece.
Goofy. Oh no, not Goofy.
And then we're gonna have Three Piece that's about Goofy trying to become a
I
clown.
think we obviously forgot about the anime we were talking about.
So erased. I want to talk about like before we end it off. I want
So
to
we
talk about
erased.
I
the
wanna
fat kid
I wanna
and the
talk.
blonde kid. Those two were cool.
I wanna talk about Batoru, the sequel. His son having revival. You're talking about Kenya and Kazu.
Yeah, whatever. The fat kid and the blonde kid. So I like them.
Kazu and Kenya.
Whatever
The
their
Kenya
name-
is the one.
whatever-
Okay.
Whatever their names were, I liked them as characters. They made the show nicer, and yeah, Erased was a solid show.
The Kazu, the fat one, wasn't really that much of a presence though. He was kind of here and there.
It was kind of just whatever to me. I was just like, I was just
The
gonna.
person I felt was always there for him was Kenya though. That's the one who I felt was always there.
Homeboy.
That's his dog. Alright, so let's wrap it up.
Okay.
Let's bring it to a closing.
Actually, one last thing before we do. Well, another complaint I had is like it went in a very cliche direction towards the end of like you're always trying to protect everyone, but no one is there to protect you, which is like I as much as that makes sense, it was kind of weird how like he just disappeared for like a day and no one said anything as he's like driving with this complete stranger. And also,
Exactly.
actually, you were saying something about like leaving everything like solved and stuff, but we never got to know how he was saved from the car. Like, did the teacher take him out because he wanted him? Did someone come save him? I don't know what happened, bro.
I have no clue. But
Yeah, which is another thing I hated about it, but that's about it.
it's about it.
I would give this show like a 9 out
I
of
would
10.
give
It's
it a
really
solid
good.
7.
Your expectations are a bit higher than me.
But Azumi, do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, a 7 too, honestly.
Damn, I guess I'm just like really easily satisfied.
Yes. That's a good thing to put in your bio. Easily satisfied. Okay. Let's wrap it up here. Everyone, take care. Have a nice day.
Okay, do the thing, Law. Do the thing.
Alright. Do do do.
Bro. Alright, see you later, guys.
Arrivederci.